Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mighty Cast, or Cast. Oh my gosh, Mark said cast in the normal time tonight. This is like the first time that's ever happened. I feel very special. Thank you, Mark.
It's never stopped him from saying it a second time later when it's inappropriate.
So thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We are going to be doing 2 hours of Rime of the Frostmaiden, followed by our after party, which I guess will be off this, but if you're on YouTube, it's on our Patreon. So thank you to everybody for tuning in. And with that intro out of the way, sorry, one more thing. If you haven't seen it already, last week we did a one-shot with Endless Adventure Supply Co., who were kind enough to invite us to run their work, and we had a blast doing it. They also sent some really fun dice bags to us, which is very kind of them, which I have yet to give to everybody, but we will make it work. Things are difficult with a pandemic, but we'll get there. So anyways, with all of that said, would our lovely Helena / Tempest be so kind as to grace us with a recap?
I can, and I will. So there she was in the flesh, the Frostmaiden, and she was mad at us. She pointed one of her talons at Altus and called him a name. And then did some magic on him. I don't know if we ever actually determined what she did to him, but so then she called down her minions and frosted away because, of course, we didn't get a chance to respond to the choice name she called Altus. So then we had to kill an ice troll and then also kill a yeti. And we were walking back to the path, and Hugo's like, hey, I see like a giant beast taking off from the fortress right now. And Sapo's like, yeah, that's her mistress's beast form. She takes her nightly constitutional. So we were like, yeah, we totally trust you and the information that you're giving us. So we were like, let's go get the fucking book now. Let's just get in that fortress. We'll get in, we'll get out. And she'll never know, even though she knows all. So we make our way there, and Sapo disappears, probably immediately to tell her what's up. But we get in the fortress. It's very quiet. There's like this mist everywhere, and it's dark. But we're not scared. Hugo's like, I'm gonna find this book. What's it made of? Boom. Find object, vellum. So we follow his little ball downstairs, and a walrus is down there, and he's trying to make the best of his bad situation because he's supposed to be guarding this place, but he's dreadfully bored. So we're like, hey man, we'll help you get back out to sea. Could you just like tell us like, you know, what this deal is with this place? Why are you guarding it? And he's like, I'm gonna tell you everything. There's 4 trials that you have to pass in order to obtain the Codicil of White, the item that we're looking for. All of these trials are themed after an aspect of the Frostmaiden: preservation, endurance, isolation, and cruelty. So we were like, that doesn't scare us. Molly's like, you go this one, you do here. And he makes a very careful plan based on our individual skills and abilities. Of course, Altus heads into the preservation arena chamber, and Tempest is like, oh, that plan you made? I mean, I'm going with Altus. I didn't know what you were talking about, but so she follows him in. They immediately get transported to a tundra area. There's a camp, and there's dead bodies everywhere. And 2 vultures are at 2 of the bodies. So maybe there's a clue. I don't know. I just think I bring it up that detail. And then cut back to Auril's fortress. So then Molly's like, okay, I got this. I'm going to go do cruelty. So he steps in there, and he also sees a camp. But here a blizzard is going on, and all he sees are a bunch of tents just kind of standing strong against this wind. Okay, so then Z's like, all right, I got this endurance. That's totally my thing. I mean, Tempest probably should have done this, but I'll do it. So
Sorry, what?
so Z enters the endurance chamber.
Okay. All right.
There also is a camp there. It's a ragged nomad camp. And there's a bunch of ragged nomads there. And they're all like sharpening weapons and doing their thing. And they're like, whoa, what? This guy's here all of a sudden. They call him a vulture. And they're like, you Aurils, whatever the fuck. We're not playing with you. And then I don't know if they make aggressive motion, but it looked like maybe they would. And then finally Hugo went into the isolation chamber. And there was again a camp there, blizzard going on, bunch of people sharpening weapons. Should have ended on Z's. It was more dramatic. Anyway, decapitated.
Decapitated? Okay. Oh, fantastic.
It's
I keep
okay.
forgetting
You guys
that
know how to
Hank,
regrow heads?
I just keep forgetting that Hank wasn't here last week, so
Yeah,
all of his surprise is like very nice for me.
Where'd he go?
I'm looking through like, okay, what do I have left? What am I gonna do?
Oh, and yeah, we didn't rest before we ran into this fortress.
I assume.
And there is going to be a brief change as each of you begin.
What is the brief change?
Well,
Is it like 75 cents or like 50 cents?
oh god.
We're in gold pieces, so it'd be like
I'm gonna
copper or
boot Jake.
I turned into a dragon?
Jake, what kind of underwear are you buying that you can get that much change back?
Wow.
Oh,
I
brief
don't
change.
even-
Get it.
Oh no, I'm gonna have so much editing to do this week. So
Motley's
with
very
that,
impressed.
we find our characters once more. Altus, Tempest. As you observe this sight and begin moving towards the camp, everything goes black.
Oh.
Malai, as they begin to approach you aggressively, you fall through the ice itself. And Z, as you begin to respond to the nomads, a wind sweeps through, covering your vision in white. And having taken in a piece of each of the tests before you, all 5 of you find yourself alongside Hugo.
Did we pass?
Isolation is this test. I should be probably alone.
We don't make the rules.
Hugo, as they all appear around you one by one, coming out of the blizzard seemingly from nowhere, you are all approached by 4 of the warriors. All of you can see about a foot in front of you is floating a small 6-pointed snowflake, a symbol that by now should be familiar. And as the Regeds move closer, they also see this. The 4 of them coming at you from all sides, kneeling in reverence as one steps forward. The Queen will be so excited to meet all of you. Would you please join us?
What queen?
Oh, I apologize. I assumed that Auril had sent you here for a purpose and that you would know where you were. This is the camp of the Tiger Tribe, and we are so grateful to accept Auril's emissaries.
Aren't these the trials?
I'm unsure of trials, but
Where is your queen?
So you all are standing at the edge of the camp, and he gestures inwards, where you can see several fires going on the inside as several of the people around that are sharpening weapons or packing baggage, putting sleds together, the sled dogs all being fed and prepared for a journey.
I'm gonna look at Tempest, like shrug.
My companion meant the trials that you have ahead of you as you set out on this journey.
Oh, yes. I mean, we foresee no complications, but I appreciate Auril's well-wishing.
How presumptuous of you to assume that the gods have no plan for you.
Well, if Auril sees fit to put a trial before us, then we will be sure to do our best to please her.
Well, you waste the winter's air by speaking to us when we should be speaking with your queen.
Yes, please, follow me. And they lead all of you through the various tents and to a center tent where you see...
I immediately turned to Hugo and Tempest. Was that okay? I don't know. It just seemed like Auril just seems very forceful, you know?
That was good, Molly. Good job.
It scared me.
As they lead you through these rings of tents, the size of the nomads getting larger at each ring as you see the weapons becoming more elaborate until you're led into the ring at the center of the pack, most well protected from the winds of the blizzard raging around you and to the outsides. You see a tall and... Sorry, my computer just decided to cut out for a second. A tall and strongly built woman sitting on a stone as she runs a whetstone over her blade. Behind her, on the other side of the fire, sits a massive saber-toothed tiger. She looks up as one of the guards comes forwards and whispers in her ear, seeing all of you, and stands immediately to greet all of you. Auril has blessed us, she shouts to every warrior in earshot. The Frostmaiden has sent emissaries to watch our camp as we complete our mission. And she steps forward to shake each of your hands in turn as she bows her head. The elaborate jewelry that's made from the surroundings of this great north, kind of clinking and clanking, as well as the several blades that she wears.
I will say, in primordial to Hugo, it's best if we probably don't talk too much.
Not responding, just nodding my head.
She takes in the symbols that are floating before each of you. I think this is truly a sign of Auril's blessing on our conquest.
How far along are you?
We were about to leave within the hour here, and now with all of you present, we will be sure to expedite our mission.
What is your conquest?
I apologize. I assumed Auril had sent her emissaries fully.
We wish to hear it in your words, in your point of view.
Yes, of course. I'm happy to fill you in on our plans now that we have her blessing. And she sits to continue to sharpen her blade, not wasting any time in her preparations as she looks at each of you.
Is it common in your culture to not bring food and drink for emissaries of such importance? I was unaware of that.
I'm going to give Malai a death look. Eyes on fire, flaring bigger and then smaller.
I apologize for any perceived lack of cordiality. I have never known the Frostmaiden to send unprepared emissaries. This is a new form for our goddess, and she snaps, and several of them start to dig through the bags that they've been preparing, and what they bring forth are more rations than anything prepared, as they were not sitting down for a meal. They were preparing for travel, but they do provide each of you with a bag full of the hardtack and the dried elk jerky that they have prepared for their travel. This is a very strange encounter indeed. She does not usually send mortals either, so this is very new for all of us, though I trust that her judgment is sound as always.
You may be confused, Queen, because you see it as a blessing when we are perhaps closer to judicators, here to oversee how you handle the trials ahead. You are being tested.
I don't believe you'll be attending us, and please call me Bjornhild. You are emissaries after all. The formalities are not necessary between folk of our stature.
Very well, Brunhild.
Surely the Frostmaiden has sent you here to guard our tent with her blessing as we go forth.
Well, what else could be true? You were saying the mission that you're taking up, please.
Yes, of course. As Auril has sent you that information, it is clear that I am blessed with the opportunity to provide it to you. And what we plan to do is to take the recent resources that our neighboring elk tribe has come into, as Auril has taught us never to let something go to waste, and going to them would be going to waste. And we hope to take them without a fight by bringing the full force of our might. And as she says this, there's a hurrah that goes up from all around as several of the people that were preparing to leave heard of your arrival, heard of Auril's emissaries coming to their camps that have now gathered on the outskirts of these tents to watch the goings-on. So, do you have any other questions for me, or shall I continue preparations for the conquest in Auril's name?
Continue your preparations. We shall oversee what we need to oversee.
Of course. She steps aside to give some words to the larger of the warriors as you see them finish packing the sleds, finish packing their animals of travel as they prepare to leave the site. All of the tents left there, the fires in your area left for your comfort instead of being torn down as they had intended. We wish this fuel to keep you comfortable while we are away. And please help yourself to anything, as we will come back with much greater bounty than we have left.
Are we alone now?
If there's nothing else you wish to communicate with them, then all of them, with another cheer and yell, ride out quickly to the east as they go forth for their conquest. All of you left alone in the campsite.
Is this real?
It can't possibly be.
So then are we supposed to act like Auril right now?
I don't know. I thought I was doing that.
I don't know what her trials have to do with guarding a camp.
Well, isn't this the trial of isolation? Correct? That's the one you overtook, Hugo, correct?
Yeah, I was alone at the time, but yeah.
Okay, so we guard camp and survive the weather, survive Auril's most blistering conditions, maybe?
Or are we supposed to help with the bloodshed? Prove...
Well, maybe if it was the cruelty trial, but isolation doesn't sound like we go with them.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it sounds like isolation should be us here at the camp alone. Am I thinking properly?
I feel like trials in the stories are always much more cut and dry. There's usually a large booming voice that gives you some kind of cryptic clue or some tablet to decipher. So he just looks around for like a plaque that he can read.
Well, Z, are you getting any thoughts from around? Is everybody real? I don't know. Even we should start there. Are we real? Is this happening?
Are there anyone still in camp still?
No, they left you entirely alone in their camp to guard it.
I don't know.
What if we burn their camp down while they're gone? That'll isolate them.
That would.
And aren't these the bad guys?
The Tiger Tribe is not known for their kindness or mercy.
Can we defeat them if they come back?
How
do we get back?
How many were there?
To go?
There were at least 30 or so.
Ay.
I don't know if that's the plan, though. What else did other people see in their visions? Because in mine, it was similar to this, but not as lively.
Tempests and we were among a camp, but it was barren and bloody, and I don't want to say, dare I say, maybe a future not too far from here.
Did you recognize any of the tiger tribe amongst the bodies? I know you only had a moment to look.
Can we roll for that?
Yes, I roll perception.
Can you roll? Ooh, fish.
Hugo's gonna sit down, crisscross applesauce in front of the fire, while everyone decides what to do.
I'm sitting with Hugo.
I got a 7.
26.
Tempest, you couldn't tell any of them apart from any of these people. They could have been the same. It's really hard to tell. The tents are a similar fabric. And Altus, you recognize that the style of garb was very, very different. The group there was wearing a lot of wolf pelts, lots of grays and blues and whites. And here was a much more earthen tones, a lot of browns, reds, yellows, oranges. The queen was clearly wearing like a coat made of tiger pelt, like with very distinctive colors.
So we were at the wolf tribe. Is there a wolf tribe?
Elk.
Elk tribe.
They mentioned the elk tribe. But
yeah.
There could be a wolf tribe too. I don't know that.
No, we were at our trial. We're at a different camp. Much different.
Well, perhaps we should keep our wits about us.
We should.
Absolutely.
I fear if night falls, it may be the coldest night we've come across.
So, and I should have given you this detail. I apologize when you arrived. It doesn't appear to be a different time from when you departed. You were around 8, 9 at night when you left. It was, I guess, closer to 10 because it was shortly after Auril had departed on her rock. It is still that time, and above you, the sky is still lit by the aurora.
So it is currently night.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we wait. Hugo, I've been meaning to ask you, and now in this situation it comes to mind. You are a Genasi, correct?
That's what they call it, yeah.
Up until now, I've assumed you were some kind of fire giant. So are you related to the element of fire or an elemental creature of fire?
Well, I don't really know. I know that I'm close to the element itself, and my dear Mordecai also is just a fire spirit. Couldn't tell you if it was the plane of fire or if somewhere in my heritage there was some kind of elemental beast.
So do you find bonfires kind of some kind of forced labor of a loved one?
No, not at all.
I want to look around where the queen was. Like, does she have an office? Was it Like, was there any belongings that I can rifle through?
So you can see that as you entered, the tents got nicer, closer to the center, where you found her. And it's easy to surmise in an environment like this that the closer in, the more that's surrounding you, the more protected you are from the wind. So these center ones are the nicest of the tents that are around. There is one that is particularly adorned, that is decorated where the others are not. And that's this one to the southeast here.
I would like to enter that one.
Inside, you can see remnants of coals that were used to keep the tent warmer. It's much warmer than outside, though still not untouched by Auril. There is a cot laid out with several furs laid atop it. There are no real pieces of furniture, as everything's designed to be mobile, but there are sort of foldable items that are laid out to be tables and desks, things like that, where she could do the work of leading the tribe. There's very little that's left behind, as they took most of it to go with them. What are you all doing for the evening?
I guess we wait while being alert.
I would have probably tended to the fire and made sure it was like extra warm, extra bright, extra hearty.
Don't poke it so hard. It's Hugo's cousin.
And now
I appreciate you caring, but it's fine.
Every fire has a soul.
It's really not my cousin.
I just asked earlier and you said, never mind.
Are any of you planning on resting, or is everybody planning on staying up and awake?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I mean, should we make rules to see if we stay awake? Like, I think that would be more
I could stay awake.
I mean, if we answer
whoever stays awake ends up with an exhaustion. So,
Well, I mean, I feel like since this started as his trial, he's taken ownership of it. So Hugo will stay awake. And to keep him awake, he's going to, throughout the night, mold earth, making little pebbles and throw them at the other party members. Hopefully they don't see. He's going to throw them and just do one of these guys.
Are any of the rest of you
letting
playing?
us rest is what you're saying?
Not a deep sleep.
Are any of the rest of you planning to sleep, or is everybody staying up?
Altus is going to ask everybody, should we rest? As he's already making a bedroll next to the fire.
He's resting.
Mala is asleep in his armor. The armor just propping him up with its hydraulics. Just
Tempest will probably do half of the night awake with Hugo, but I would still rest.
Okay. So as the evening wears on, Hugo, eventually the sole person awake, as one by one the rest of you nod off. I need everybody to make a wisdom check.
Everybody?
Check.
Everybody.
Wisdom check or save?
Check.
18.
I don't want to say mine.
8.
8? Okay.
18.
18. Altus?
22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Malai?
Them clerics, though.
I managed to get lower than Tempest with a 7.
As all of you sit around the fire, Hugo, you feel the breeze getting stronger as the blizzard, when you had arrived, that shepherded you here had calmed down, but it feels as a flurry of snow has picked up, and it takes just a moment extinguishing the campfire. And as your eyes begin to adjust with the help of the aurora, Malai is gone.
Ooh. Oh God.
All right. So as Malai has vanished, the Aurora as well traces back its path, leaving the camp in darkness.
I will, and then I'll mold earth a bigger rock and start throwing it. Wake up! Wake up!
What happened?
He's gone! Muley's gone!
Did someone take him?
He disappeared.
Detect thoughts. And I'm gonna wander like probably out to here and just keep going in a circle. Like around.
The only thoughts that you can sense in the area are those of your party. Not a soul within your range.
Does that include Molly?
No.
Okay. Just have to check.
This is just a test. This is just a test, guys. He's back at the fortress.
Do I get to know what happens to me, or should I just mute myself and sit quietly?
You will eventually, not yet.
Eventually.
Well, I mean, it is the trial of isolation, so maybe he's isolated somewhere and he's doing the trial.
That could be it. We mustn't panic. We knew this was going to be tough. Everybody else okay?
Yeah.
Give me
like
something to punch. I can't handle this. I start stomping away.
Tempest is feeling herself. Coulter, what time was that? Was that after, like, enough for a rest, or are we talking like 4 a.m.?
This is, like 4 a.m. Yeah. Just at the end of the Aurora.
So no one has... Does Tempest even have a rest then?
Not yet.
No? Okay, so no one's rested.
Fantastic.
Well, I mean, there's not much else we can do. Do you want to try resting again, everybody?
I don't know what else there is to do.
Okay. So, as you all return to resting, the rest of the night goes uneventful. The weather seeming to have completely calmed. Not even the slightest breeze. As the darkness of true morning reaches all of you. Did you ever relight the campfire?
If I was staying up, I definitely would have.
Okay.
I would have kept it going.
The four of you are still, as you awaken, left alone in the center of this camp, completely abandoned.
Morning.
Hugo,
Morning.
you should rest.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit tired.
What if you sleep during the day and we'll keep watch?
That sounds amazing. And I'll just kind of lean over and go to sleep.
Throw like a blanket over him.
Right, as Hugo sleeps.
I'm going to do patrol. I'm just trying out.
Patrolling, okay. Altus, Z?
Between patrolling and watching over Hugo and, yeah, wandering. But like wandering within the rings of the camp.
It is eerily silent There's not much wildlife up here, but usually this far outside of 10 towns, you'd expect to see a herd of elk, possibly a wolf or other, smaller creatures, rabbits, or other of the more snow hardy varieties. But nothing comes through. And as the 10 a.m. twilight starts to break, there's nothing on the horizon in any direction. You can see now that it's beginning to be lighter outside, that they've taken the camp on the high ground of the area. So you can see a valley below, covered and blanketed in snow, unbroken white as far as you can see in any direction. Far off in the distance, farther than a few days' travel, you can see Kelvin's cairn breaking some of that surface, but not a soul.
Is there a way we can kind of tell where we are based on where Kelvin's cairn is? Does it look like whereabouts where the island was?
Let's see. So with that, you can't see any water. Wherever the sea of moving ice is, it's too far away to see from here. Does anybody have a suggestion for me of a good finding your location roll besides perception?
Survival?
Survival. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Go ahead and give me a survival roll.
Ooh. 22.
Okay. So you can tell you're south of Kelvin's Cairn where you are right now.
South. But I don't see any of the mountains.
The mountains, as you turn the other direction, are further south of you. So the high ground that they've taken is in the foothills. Drops on either side.
Okay. So I just relay where I think about we are. So if this is real, we were transported miles.
And with that, you can also tell that you would be far, with the placement of Kelvin's Cairn, you would be far to the east of any of 10 towns.
Far to the east. Okay. And this is probably where these tribes are rumored to be in reality.
So from just having grown up in 10 towns that the tribes move around frequently. So
they're real mads.
Yeah, anywhere in the south on the Ragged Glacier, this kind of all of it below and to the east, all of that land they could be in. All right.
Basic.
As the twilight hour continues forward in this eerie stillness, it begins to grow dark once more. As the afternoon darkness settles over the camp.
Would I be awake by now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All of you rested, having had a full rest at this point, back to your normal stats. Is there anything you're doing as evening sets in?
Did we lose anywhere else?
No, not yet.
I'm here.
Well, I mean, isolation, right? So we just need to hang out here.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we stay here isolated while each of us,
the most sense.
While each of us get transported, and then the last one passes the test. I'm absurd. I'm absurd.
No, that's not a bad idea.
I'll patrol around with Tempest and kind of see if there's anything out of the ordinary that wouldn't be kind of part of the nomad tents or the nomad like culture, I guess. I don't
know. Roll perception.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm not helping at all.
Perception. Ooh, that is a 25.
All of the tents as you pass them, aside from the ones left open in the inner circle for you, are laced up against the cold to keep any sort of snow or detritus from blowing in while they're gone. Beyond that, this all fits. Everything seems to be as it's supposed to be, aside from you.
Well, Tempest, seems like everything is as it should be.
And yet we are in a totally different place than where we were yesterday by magic.
Yeah, I mean, but I summoned a little creature made of fire, so, I mean, magic is weird.
I came from a different plane, so...
How are you doing, Tempest? I know when we met, what feels like years ago, which is really a week ago, I know you lost somebody close to you. How do you feel?
I stop walking suddenly and I kind of turn to face you and I go, I'm sorry about your sister.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Oh, it's okay.
I lost my brother. You might remember. Sucks. I continue walking.
That it does. Just kind of like right behind her, giving her some space.
Oh no, we can continue walking together.
Okay.
I hope we figure out this thing in your body.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
awful.
Me too. It's 15 days now, which not that worried about it, but if we can find it, that'd be ideal.
Why are you so cool?
Well, I mean, if I die, return to nature, yada yada, there's not much keeping me here, if I'm honest. I mean, most of my life I've been pretty alone, pretty isolated, just me and my family. I lost my parents pretty young, and my sister gone about a month ago. So, hey, if I go, I go.
I don't think I'm afraid of dying either. I'd like to go with my eyes open and my axe in my hand.
Same here. One favor I do need to ask you, Tempest, because it seems like you are, kind of look around to see if anyone else is here, the most capable of the lot. When I do succumb to this thing, it will come out of my chest, and I'm afraid that it could go on to infect more people like me. So if I do end up dying to it, I will ask that you please take care of it for me.
Yeah, it will have killed my friend. I will definitely be destroying it.
Okay, good. Just checking. Just wanted to ask you directly.
Don't you ever worry about asking me to kill someone.
All right.
Or something.
Okay. As you continue your patrol and the cold of night sets in, still bizarrely still, the campfire once again built. Who is staying awake and who is taking rest?
I'll stay awake. Oh,
And then, maybe we could play it just like last night. So I'll try and stay awake the whole night. Maybe Tempest stay awake half of it, and then I'll go to sleep in the morning.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. As you all go off to bed, can I get a wisdom check from everyone?
worse.
16.
6.
Altus? Z?
Oh, great, because I got a 2.
That wind finally picks up again. Hugo, your vision blurred in white as the campfire is extinguished, and Z no longer sits across from it.
Not Holmes.
At this point, I'll let everybody sleep, and then when they wake up, I'll tell them that Z is gone.
The rest of the night is uneventful as we reach you all waking up the following morning.
Z disappeared. He's no longer here.
It's just a trial. It's just
Same
a
thing?
trial. It's just
Same,
a trial.
just in a second, he was gone.
I hope they're okay.
They have to be. They have to be okay. It's just the trial. We'll be all right.
Well, does anyone know any 3-player games?
Oh, not since I was a small half-elf. Oh, it's been a long time.
I'll just lay back, start humming.
If any of you go through the Queen's tent again, you can find a basically fabricated version of a deck of 3 Dragon Ante, as well as a few other different trinkets that could help to pass the time, things that they've taken from other tribes or that they've managed to get off of merchants traveling a little too far off the road. Most of the things that they have, they made themselves, but it's clear that they plunder where plunder is available. But
I would have absolutely recognized 3 Dragon Ante.
been a long time since you were back in the South.
At this point, too, I probably would have gone through the rest of the tents and cut them open and seen what's in them.
For the most part, it's just left bedrolls or empty cots. There's a few more superfluous belongings, things that were perhaps considered luxuries or things were not necessarily useful in direct combat that are left behind. So you find some whittled figurines, you find a few smaller pieces of leatherwork or pieces of wood that were in the process of being crafted into something that aren't something that you would be able to do on the road. For the most part, though, it's clear that this is a fairly... I'm losing a lot of words today. This is a fairly minimalist group, and what they've left behind are stands for weapons. They've left behind, extra feed bags for pack animals and dogs. It's clear that their main priority is the work that they're doing, and anything that's considered beyond that has not been taken into consideration.
Well, they're on a mission.
And do we have enough firewood and everything to keep the blaze?
That definitely.
Okay.
There's in each of the central tents here, there is a stack of wood available, as well as in the northern area up there at the top. There's larger wood piles that they didn't want to take with them. All right.
I make a snow Malai and a snow Z.
Oh, you're so sweet.
By the time you are finished completing your snow creations, give me 2 dexterity checks just out of curiosity.
How good they are. Oh, that one wasn't bad. Hold on, I guess I should roll both of them. Okay, so I got a 17 and a 7.
So the Malai is fairly well detailed. each of the individual pieces of the pneumatics you're able to kind of get carved into this big pile of snow that you've made. The Z looks a lot more like him in his natural form. Very smooth in all directions, no definition whatsoever, but it's kind of humanoid. As you complete your second sculpture, the twilight hours that are so fleeting fade once more into darkness as we head into your third night here.
Hugo, I've been hitting the books and trying to figure out what to do with, everybody knows, with what's
here.
Here. I have two answers, neither of which are perfect.
Okay.
Neither of which are even pleasant.
All right. You're selling this very well.
I'm at a loss. I value you and your life and your friendship, and I need to just be honest with you and tell you what I've got going on. One, I can keep you from dying no matter what happens, and then we can nurse you back to health. The other, we let you die and bring you right back after. And frankly, I have no other ideas at this point. We have some time left, but it's worth telling you now that I have some plans and I'm still working. I don't know.
Well, thank you for your diligence. I would definitely prefer not to die. I think if I were to die to this thing, then just keep me dead. I don't think the natural order of things would be to bring me back.
I see that point of view, and I understand that one as well.
But if there's a way to keep me from dying, then that's a thought.
It's an idea.
The frog.
Tempest will have the time of her days doing it as well. My fear is that one would be greatly painful, and I don't like seeing any of us in pain.
Well, I imagine it's probably less than the pain of dying.
More or less, I guess that's just the point of view. I'm still working. I'm still running the numbers, as they say down south.
Hey, you have 14 days. If worst comes to worst, we'll do that plan.
We have a plan C. We'll work on A and B.
Hopefully these days don't count.
That's a thought.
Because of the magic or whatever.
Oh, Tempest, you're right. I hadn't considered that. We'll count them just in case, just to be safe on the timer.
All right. Are you keeping the same sleeping arrangement as last night?
I think so.
Okay. Can I have a wisdom check, please?
Oh, I got a nat 20. Ooh. Damn it. I don't want to be the last one.
18.
I don't want to wait.
Also 18.
Oh.
DM's delight.
Between the two of you,
who wants to die? As the
wind picks up, Altus is gone.
Oh.
Only Tempest and Hugo left at the campsite now.
Yep.
As she wakes up, I'll let her know. Altus went away in the night.
He's gone.
Yep.
Man. I don't know if I want it to be me last or if I want to be where they are. Ugh! Get up and stomp around. Today's probably really tense for us.
So, I mean, I'm new to this party, and I noticed a few things, and you and Altus What's the deal there?
All you men are such gossips. Oh, I don't know. I haven't read this letter he wrote me, and the longer I wait, the weirder it is. So I don't know.
What do you think's in the letter? Why don't you read it?
Well, I just assume he probably doesn't want anything to do with me. Because who would? I'm a total mess.
Well, yes, but why would he put that in a letter and then continue to travel with you?
Nothing better to do? I don't know. He could probably find better things to do. He has like a lot of important friends and he talks to people. He likes that kind of thing. Again, another reason why we're totally not right for each other. Or maybe it's perfect because then he can talk to people and then I don't have to.
That's a good perspective as well. Well, whatever help I can offer, I'm here. If you want me to burn the leather, if you want me to read the letter, whatever.
Thanks.
So do you know any good two-player games?
Can't we just play that dragon game, but with two people?
I didn't really understand it.
Oh, me neither.
Altus was the one that was really playing for all three of us, so we can fake it. I got a dragon.
Great. You win?
I do.
This day progresses much.
Make
like
a snow
previous.
Altus also, by the way. I gotta make him. Let's hope that rolls better. 15.
Nice. It is much better than your Snow Z, but not quite as good as your Snow Malai.
Can't capture the sparkle in his eyes and snow. You just can't.
There's too much there. Just too much in that heart to capture all of it. The twilight rises. The twilight falls. And still, there's not a living soul in sight. As the two of you alone now sit in the center of this warrior camp, the fire going in front of you, the aurora spreads across the sky, the only sign of another living being, just like the nights before. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check.
Oh, that's good. That is.
I have to roll in the thing because
23.
Okay, so the 17 is plus 0, so 17.
Did either of you go to bed this night?
I'm too jittery. I don't think so.
I didn't either.
As you look at each other across the fire and the wind comes through, extinguishing it, Hugo is alone.
I'll summon Mordecai because I'm lonely.
Nothing comes.
Oh,
Oh no, Mordecai.
As the stillness of the evening continues, the only sign of another living being that you can perceive is a slight movement within your chest. That after a few moments fades back into stillness. As the aurora fades from the sky the same way that it arrived, and you are left in the darkness of a smoking campfire.
I will build a snow tempest.
As you can to continue the tradition.
The 9.
Not having quite had the practice that Tempest did, as she arranged each of these figures around the campfire to keep you both company. This mostly just comes out like 3 round shapes, vaguely humanoid, as your only company.
Except Tempest has boobs. So you know it's Tempest. 'Cause she's the only girl.
Yeah. You're not here, buddy. Is there anything you're doing?
No, I mean, knowing that I can't summon Mordecai, I'm probably going to be pretty nervous and maybe close to losing my mind. So I'm going to be pacing around just the fire constantly. And I'll start talking to the thing in my chest.
Each time you address it, if you speak louder or you become more agitated, it moves more. If you calm your tone, you feel it settle back down as if it's reacting to the vibrations that you produce. But other than that, the twilight hour comes. Still nothing. No wind, no animals. And the twilight goes. Nothing. Are you building a fire tonight?
Yes.
As we come to the close of day 5 now in this place, and you sit alone by the campfire as the aurora illuminates the sky overhead, nothing happens. The winds that took each of the party members away in the previous nights never rise, and you are left in the stillness for hours. The darkness becoming more and more oppressive as the cold continues to set in as it does every night for hours. Are you resting or are you staying awake?
I'll rest.
You awaken on the 6th day, just as the twilight hours begin, and still not a soul. And with that, we're going to go to Malai.
My name's Malai.
That is your name. Malai, as soon as that wind overtook you, your own sight going white with that change and that coldness, you find yourself back in that place that you glimpsed so briefly, in a half-empty camp. The people moving slowly, gauntly, as you are now between several of the tents. None of your party is around. And you see a woman weaving outside of a tent closest to you as the wind of your arrival dies down once more, that snowflake still in front of your face. Oh, hello? Are you here to end all of this?
Tell me, child, what would you have me do?
And she sets down her work. I wish to give no instruction. We don't want to bring her wrath upon us. But I think you should speak to the king.
Take me to him.
She guides you between the tents at a very similar setup to what you've seen previously, but without any of the logs and without any of the additional fires and without any sleds or sled dogs. As you come to the center of the camp, where the single fire in the entirety of the place is burning. All of the people around you moving slowly, looking gaunt, thin, weak, as a man dressed in a shaman's attire and the king stand before a tent with 4 of the elders of the tribe. Welcome. I am King Halragons. You have found us at a difficult time. I apologize. I have nothing to provide to the Frostmaiden in offering. But please beg her not to worsen the hardship that we have already encountered.
Auril requires sacrifice.
So that's why she sent you. He looks at the shaman and looks at the elders. Her timing is cruel and impeccable as always. As you already know, we have come on a hard winter with her frost, and we have eaten through all of our stores. We have eaten all of our pack animals and sled dogs, and clearly she has sent you to do the work that we were having difficulty with.
Is it Auril's fault that you were ill prepared for her blessings? And even worse prepared for her trials?
Well, clearly we are suffering for that ill preparedness now. We are prepared to end the lives of our brethren here, to continue to feed the tribe. And I am grateful that Auril sent you to us to help you dispatch them. However you see fit to end them, we are grateful. And the 4 elderly members of the elk tribe stand cowering and cold, their outer garments already removed, standing in the barest of what they have left to keep them alive against the frost.
Not even man enough to do your own dirty work?
We know that Auril tends to like to take her own sacrifices. But if you wish us to, then we will.
I will cast Shatter on the 4 men.
Okay. The 2 women and 2 men that were huddled there, as you cast Shatter, you see them all fall as they cry out in pain. And a look of horror sweeps over the king's face as a whirlwind of snow wraps around you, and you find yourself back in Grimskull.
I'm gonna fall to my knees and just feel like, I hope Tempest was wrong and that isn't real.
From there, we're going to turn to Z.
Okay.
Z, you find yourself in a very similar campsite, except for rather than being in the midst of travel or in the midst of hunger, this one is being torn down.
Okay.
As you find yourself right in the center of it all, right between all of those tents, the arrival startles all of them around you, and they immediately turn on you with spears. As one man steps forward, dressed in more heavy furs than the warriors around him, who are dressed lighter for ease of movement and ease of combat. Announce yourself. If she sent you to kill us, we will fight to the death.
I'm not here to kill, simply observe.
Well, if you're not here to kill, then you can help us or you can leave.
They're breaking stuff down. I'll help them.
So, and they're clearly breaking things down carefully and packing up each of the different tents, loading them onto sleds.
I'm not going to like overly exert myself, but I'll help.
Okay. They keep a watchful eye on you through all of this. Most of the people trying to stay further away from you, and you can see them focus on that snowflake in front of your face as they're waiting for something bad to come of your presence.
If ever there's a moment when I am absolutely sure no one's looking at me, I'm going to slightly change something about my appearance.
It takes a good 2 hours of packing, as they were already partially done with their work when you arrived. But finally, after all of the tents are being loaded and they're working to tie them down and ensure that they're really stably attached to the sleds for the journey, they've grown used to your presence. And there's much less attention on you if you had wanted to change something.
Remember what hair? I don't think I had hair. So we're going to grow some hair.
So what did you change?
I grew some hair.
Okay. The king, after checking the rigging, turns back to you. It takes a moment as he's taken aback by your change in appearance. Clearly, she works in strange ways.
I just like bow my head a little bit, but I don't say anything.
You have proven yourself not to be a threat to us, and for that I am grateful, as I'm sure we all are. But we must leave this place. The herd of reindeer is moving to the east, and we follow. The journey from here will not be easy, as we fear that there is some weather coming on. But if you would help us, we would appreciate it. Otherwise, you can leave.
How can I help?
Travel with us. Keep an eye out. Make sure that nothing falls off any of the sleds. And keep the pace.
Understood.
They all set out, keeping a strong pace. The people all following the dog sleds that are going a little slower to ensure that they can all keep up. But the motion is nonstop. Whereas before you were able to ride on the axe beaks or to partake in dog sleds of your own, you are on foot, trudging through a range of 1 to 3 feet of snow.
Sorry, where am I looking at on the map here?
Anywhere is really fine. You don't know where you are.
Okay, cool.
You come over hills. You come through valleys. You cross small outshoots of rivers as the day brightens and darkens around you. Hour after hour of travel without stop. You see the members of the tribe as they fall and are lifted up, not allowed to stop moving themselves, cycling between the sleds, only those that are too exhausted to continue motion to not weigh the dogs down. You're able to keep up pace with them for the most part as a blizzard begins to set in. The snow blocking out any sort of view more than the sled in front of you and the sled behind you. As you settle into night, the blizzard covering absolutely everything, so you can't even see if the aurora has set in overhead. You reach your 9th hour of travel, and I need you to make a con save.
A save or a check?
Save.
Right. 13.
You stumble, but you manage to keep your footing. The king himself helping you up from the snow and pushing you forward, continuing this forced march to try to follow the deer in their own migration to ensure the survival of all of the people around you. As another hour passes, it's now nearly pitch black, aside from the shadows of the people around you. I need you to make a con save.
$18.
You're holding up. You feel an arm clap you on the shoulder, almost a congratulations for your continued motion. But the cold is beginning to reach into your bones as another hour passes. Make a con save.
Ooh, 12.
As you stumble again, the darkness stopping most of the members of the tribe from seeing you, until one of those first warriors that pointed a spear at you trips over your body, realizing that you're there and helping you back to your feet as two of them push you further forward. Take a level of exhaustion.
Oh.
They help you as best they can, but by this point in the march, 13 hours of solid motion, everybody's tired. The muscles in your legs screaming with every step. Unsure when this march will end, only knowing that you'll be lost if you don't continue forward. Make a con save.
I can do math. 15.
Okay. You manage to keep moving forward, and it seems that the pace of all of those around you begins to slow, though it doesn't stop, as the wind slowly begins to settle around you. The area that you're in, blanketed in ice, making it difficult to tell how far you've traveled, how long it's been, but they seem to be looking for a spot to rest. Make a final con save.
I'm going to do, I think this is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do Tides of Chaos so I can get advantage on this.
Is Tides of Chaos magic based?
It is.
As you
it's my wild magic.
Summon that forth from inside of you, there's nothing to reach for.
Balls. Of course. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. At the end of that final hour, they all settle. The equipment intact, all of the members of the tribe having made it. And as the twilight of the next day begins to break, you can see on a hilltop far before you the outline of a herd of reindeer. The king turns to you with a grin. Perhaps I misjudged you. I apologize for your hostile welcome, and we appreciate you journeying with us.
Do like another bow, but I don't really say anything.
As he turns to order them to begin setting up the campsite once more, you feel that icy wind surround you as your vision goes blank, and you find yourself looking at Malai across the basement of Grimskull. And that will take us to Altus and Tempest.
Altus, have you been here long, or did you just get here?
It's hard to say. It's been a flurry. I'm so happy to see you, though.
Altus, it feels mere minutes since you arrived and started trudging forward. Tempest suddenly appearing next to you as the campsite that you both witnessed prior comes into view.
We're here again.
I wonder where you went while you were missing from the other. Oh my! This thing is hurting my head.
It's okay. We're almost done. Preservation.
Dozens of corpses, half buried in snowdrifts, lay scattered around the campsite, some with spears still sticking out of them, in various poses of decease. Blood spattering the snow around each of the bodies as 6 giant buzzards feast in the center of the camp.
Do you think we're supposed to stop them? Like we're supposed to preserve the bodies?
I think so. I think Auril wants what's naturally going to happen. I don't know if these things are her intent. I'm gonna trudge forward and look for any survivors. See if there's any movement amongst any of the bodies. I know it's futile, but I'm gonna try.
How close are you getting?
I'm gonna pass the first tent line.
You don't see anything yet as you come closer. Can you both roll perception for me?
Mm-hmm.
2.
6.
It's impossible to tell. None of the bodies that you see in the snow, though, are living.
So these people are not like the people that this is the elk tribe, right?
I believe so. Coulter, is this would be the elk tribe, right?
They are wearing wolf pelts.
Wolf tribe. Okay.
I mean, have we heard of a wolf tribe just as like
I don't know if I have.
Like as people who live in tin towns, had we heard of them?
Tempest, you would have been, I don't know if Altus would have been there long enough, but Tempest, you would know that there's 4 distinct tribes of the Reged. So the wolf would be one of them.
Oh, okay. So, you're right. They're wearing wolf pelts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about them, if they're friendly to her or not.
I don't know either. Could I make like a religion check to see if I had studied anything since I got to the north? Well, whatever kind of check you want me to make.
Yeah, religion's fine.
18.
You know that all of the Reged take Auril seriously, just because being so far out into the tundra, most of them have had some sort of dealing with her, whether it be in this generation or in the past. So whether they're friendly to her, it's hard to tell between tribes, especially as they tend to isolate themselves from 10 towns. They tend to not do much business with the towns. But they would definitely be familiar with her and aware of her.
I relay that to Tempest. I think if they defied her and she struck them down, then she probably wants their bodies to feel the cold. I don't know. Can I go to cast thaumaturgy and like yell to get all the vultures away?
Sure, yeah.
Does it work?
Give me an intimidation check.
With any sort of anything because of thaumaturgy?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, bollocks.
I could start yelling if you want.
If you do thaumaturgy and Tempest assists you, then you can do it with advantage.
With the intimidation check, that's a 19.
As between Tempest charging and your voice booming, shaking the tents themselves, the snow coming off of their roofs, 3 of the vultures immediately take flight. The other 3 moving around to try and get to the kills that they were eating, as one of them looks up at you cautiously.
Hey, ugly! Oh, fuck it. I'm dying to kill something. I just start running at it.
I follow right behind, and I think actually that's going to be the best course of action as Jake, not as Elvis.
As you charge them, the other 3 take flight, deciding it's not worth it. So coming closer in, though the ice has stopped there from being the smell of death, it's clear that these are a few days gone.
Can I investigate it all and see if I can determine what killed them? Like, were they? I'm versus like magic versus spears.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to do investigation? Or
yeah,
like
perfect.
I'm not smart. 11.
I mean, even with an 11, it's clear that these are all battle wounds. You don't see signs of magic.
Tempest, I have so many answers if magic would work, but
do you want to try and raise one of them and see if they know anything?
Yeah.
But not everybody who comes into this trial is going to be able to do that. So how can that be part of it?
I don't think it is. Actually.
You're both discussing, on the other side of this circle of tents from you, you see a little boy step out from the tent flaps and look across at both of you.
Hello there. I'm going to take a couple steps forward.
Are you here to finish it?
To finish what?
I'm all that's left.
Of your tribe?
He killed the rest.
Who was he?
He was another member of the tribe. He led a revolution when we wouldn't give up our ways. And he slaughtered everyone that chose not to follow him. I don't think he saw me, though.
Then no, we're not here to carry out any wishes of his. You're a survivor, boy.
He cautiously takes a step forward out of the camp, trying to get a better look at both of you. And as he steps into this twilight that you've all entered into, you can see that he's not dressed in furs like the bodies scattered around, but just wearing a lighter tunic and pants with a poncho set over the top, but nothing that should be able to keep him warm in this atmosphere.
Are you cold boy? As I go to take off like my whatever most outer layer is.
I stop you from taking off your jacket and I go, I think he's okay. Go ahead.
Tempest, he looks at you and sees you in similar dress to him. You're like me.
I think so.
She'll never let you go.
Well, I plan on killing her. So maybe then she'll let us go.
That kind of gets a smile from him. I don't know what to do. And you see him look over at some of the bodies on the ground and grimace and look away. The bodies that he looked at are dressed in heavier cloaks than the rest of them, similar to what you've seen in the other monarchs of these tribes. They took out my parents first. I hid in a snowbank until they were gone. I don't know how long it's going to be until he realizes that they didn't kill me too.
Well, you can stay with us. And maybe we can try and bury your parents. My parents died a long time ago.
Do you need food? I have some rations left.
We're okay. When did you last eat?
I was starting to try and eat before the commotion with the vultures when you arrived.
Well, you should eat. And then if you want, we can do something about the bodies and you can help, or you don't have to help if you don't want to.
I want to help. And he beckons both of you into the tent that he was hiding in.
You go in.
Step in.
It is similar to the tent that you saw in the Tiger tribe, where it's clearly adorned on the outside with decoration to mark it as the tent of the leaders of the tribe. But whereas hers was very sparse and basically set for nothing but war and tactics, this one is decorated. It's the home of a family. There's crafts made by children, probably more than one. There's places that are clearly made for gathering. There's several things in the camp that are turned over, left in haste, and it seems that he has touched very little since all of this has happened, keeping to his own cot.
What is your name?
I guess it's, I'm sorry, it's only been a few days, but it feels like so long. Eric's.
Eric's, that's a nice name. My name is Altus, and that's Tempest.
I'm glad you're here, even if she sent you.
At this point, I don't know what she's doing.
Have you ever seen her?
Not since my birth. They said that she visited. I was born on the midwinter.
Me too.
And as he begins to open up and tell you about his life, you hear a howl come from the north of the campsite as a voice calls out, almost sing-songy, "Eric's."
Oh, fuck no.
And then
Tempest.
another howl. "Eric's, I know you're here." And another one. The howl's growing closer.
You stay with him, and I run out there, rage.
Okay. Excellent. Roll for initiative.
Eric's, you stay in here and you hide, and it's going to be okay. I know why we're here. And then I run out after Tempest.
I got a full 15.
Okay, 15. Altus?
30-20.
Excellent. Altus, you're up first.
Damn it.
What to do first?
Tempest, as you burst out of the flaps of the tent, you see a heavily armored warrior with a crazed look in his eyes, his skin blotchy and discolored, eyes bloodshot, carrying a spear, beginning to enter from the far side of the camp. Altus, what you doing?
I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt. I'm going to do it at second level.
All right, go ahead.
Let the record show that Altus is absolutely pissed off too.
Okay.
I can't rage, but I'm enraged.
That's so close.
That's a 24.
Excellent. That'll definitely hit.
I get to do that thing where I roll a bunch of dice at once and make a loud sounds doing it.
Always feels so good doing that.
It feels so good.
So many dice. As you begin to cast it, you hear that howl go up again as this slashing of a tent flap it breaks the silence in the air as he takes this closest tent down into a pile.
$21 damage, radiant damage, if that matters.
You hear this guttural grunt and see the form drop to a knee and then look at you over its shoulder, blood dripping from its mouth as this man, if you can still call him that, recognizes your presence. And Tempest, you're up.
Okay, I am going to rage. So that gets me 20 feet. Then I'll take my normal movement, which is 40 feet, puts me here, and then I'm going to shoot him twice.
Okay.
I should have moved.
Okay, oh, frick. So 18 plus 4, 22, and then 9.
Both of those will hit.
Both hits? Oh, wow.
Yes. You said 22 and 9? 9,
Yeah.
Sorry. 22. I heard 19 for some reason. Just the 22
Yeah.
hits.
Okay. I was like,
Sorry
wow,
about
that's
crazy.
great.
Paper thin armor.
Okay. 4, 10 plus 1, 11 radiant damage.
Okay. Excellent. He looks surprised to see that strange weapon, but then he starts cackling as he turns to you. I was only here for the Vokatoth boy, but if you want to go down too, be my guest. And he whips a crossbow back from behind his back, seeing now that that spear he appeared to be carrying is actually a sickle. And he fires 3 shots at you. It's an 18, a 19, and a 15 to hit.
The 15 does not.
He does 18 piercing damage total as he fires across the gap here. 1, 2, 3, stepping behind the tent that he'd half collapsed and howling again. And that's going to bring us back to the top of the round with Altus.
Watch for wolves, I yell.
So he's behind this tent now?
Yes.
Like under cover?
Yes.
Don't like that. Don't like that one bit. 30. No. Blast. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna dash and double my movement. Am I doing that right?
Okay, go ahead. And that's your action then.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna get up to here. And that'll... Oh, I can't bonus action, can I?
Can, I think.
Can I?
Yeah.
You have something bonus action to do, yeah.
Your action was the dash.
Action was the dash. Okay. Sorry, guys. D&D is hard, you know, especially when I'm stressed out.
I have faith in you, buddy.
Where was the spell I'm looking for?
What could possibly have you stressed out?
If this boy dies on my watch, done.
I quit.
Okay, that's not what I wanted.
Do we ever get what we want, though?
No.
You can't always get what you want.
Try sometime.
What do you got for me, buddy?
I'm gonna end my turn then because I can't think of what it was.
We're gonna get sued someday.
Tempest,
No.
You're up.
Okay. I am going to run 40 feet out to here so he hopefully doesn't have cover anymore.
You're good there.
Yes, cool.
Yeah,
2 shots, mother. 15 and 22.
Both of those will hit.
Okay. My God, enough. Oh, I'm sorry. 7 plus 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 damage.
Okay.
Radiant.
He cries out as it pierces him, and you see blood coating the side of his coat, and that cackle returns, the blood seeming to egg him forward as we come down to his turn, and the vultures that you scared off before return at the smell of blood.
To him.
It's not nice.
He bleeding.
It's not nice at all.
This vulture is going to come through and attack Altus.
Damn it.
Altus, that is an 8 and an 11 to hit.
Woo! Neither hit.
This one's swooping down on Tempest. For a 13 and a 22.
The 22 will hit, yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be 10 slashing damage from the vulture as he steps out and shoots 3 more crossbow bolts at Tempest as the closest. That is a 9, a 15, and a 12.
None of those.
Okay. He curses in a language that you don't understand before using the rest of his motion to come south. And that brings us back to Altus.
As a bonus action, I'd like to cast Shield of Faith on Tempest. So +2 to your AC.
Nice.
And then is the flying thing that's trying to attack me in melee range? Or is it like up?
It is going to be in melee range. It's about 5 feet above you as it attacked because it had to get close enough to do that.
Oh, okay, so it attacked me. Bold thing of it to do in stabbing distance. I'm going to swing the rapier at it.
Okay.
I'm going to use my, what is it called? Guided strike. Okay. So with all mods, it's going to be a 19 to hit.
Hits.
Then It's going to be 6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage. Okay. The vulture screeches and tries to move away from you. And that'll bring us down to Tempest.
Okay. I'm going to run away. I will take the attack of opportunity.
That is a 12.
Nope. Okay. All right. And I'm going to attack him twice with my axe. Recklessly. Okay. So that's a dirty 20 and an 18.
Both hit.
So it's going to be... And he can make a dexterity saving throw. Oh my God, these two.
That was a 6, so he cannot make a dex saving throw.
Okay, so that's 9 plus 12, 21. 21 damage, yes.
He growls at you as you strike him, and you can tell he's bloodied.
Yeah, he is.
And you did your extra elemental damage?
Yeah, that was the dex save.
Excellent. All right, Tempest, that'll bring us down from you back to him. And now that you're in range, he drops the crossbow and strikes at you with his sickle.
Right.
All right, that is... And you've taken damage, correct?
Yes.
His blood frenzy kicks in, giving him advantage against you for a 16, a 25, and a 25.
The two 25s.
Oh. He is clearly in some sort of craze, as the first does 10 and the second does 20 piercing damage.
10 and 20, you said?
The 30 total.
30 total, okay.
Each of them, he lets out a growl, and as he strikes that last blow is a howl. Excellent. Another dex save?
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I have to look it up.
That is an 11.
Okay, so that is, I think, meets it. Hold on. Yeah, that meets my DC. So I think he's just going to take half.
Okay.
Let me just look at the dice here. Failed save half as much. All right, so 2d10s. That's going to be 14. Well, 7. So 7.
Okay. You can tell that one of his arms, his non-dominant arm, is looking limp as you've struck him once again, the fire singeing through the fur that's covering him up. And we are down back to the top of the round to Altus.
I don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
The vultures didn't go. This one is going to try to escape you as you struck it.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
You do.
Woohoo!
Take it down.
That's a 12 to hit it?
That will hit it.
Yes.
As this one comes down to attack Tempest. Go ahead.
That's 12 damage.
As it tries to fly away and you strike it, it crashes into the tent, bleeding and collapsing the roof. As this one gets advantage on those, which still doesn't help that much. A 16 and a 13 to hit Tempest.
Nope.
Okay, excellent. Now that brings us down to Altus.
Okay. Now there's 2 enemies in very close proximity, but there's also... Okay. I don't like this one bit. I'm going to go right there.
Okay.
And
so you have
then...
advantage on the vulture?
Yes. Are there any healing spells that are a bonus action? I don't believe so.
Healing word?
Healing word is a bonus action, is it?
It is.
In that case, I'm going to cast healing word. It is. And I'm going to cast it at second level.
Okay.
So 2d4.
Go ahead and give us that roll. And I assume this is on Tempest and not the vulture or the bad guy?
Yeah, we'll do it on Tempest.
Okay.
If I can grab a d4. Okay, so Tempest, you heal for 12 HP.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
And then after that bonus action,
69.
Nice.
Hello.
I'm going to swing at this vulture with the rapier.
Come.
Second verse, same as the first.
What do you got to hit?
15 to hit.
Hits.
And then 11 damage.
Let you guys behind the curtain. Vultures have 10 AC.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. After Altus, we're back down to Tempest.
All right, 2 whacks. My main man. I'll do it recklessly again. Why not?
Excellent.
All right. So 23 and
Hits.
9 plus 4.
13
13.
does not hit.
Oh, gnats. All right.
And dex
Here we
save
go.
from
And you
him?
can make a dex save.
9.
Okay, so he does not make it. So let's roll a d6. Oh, okay. So that's 18 plus my 6, 24 damage.
He is looking incredibly ragged as he stands before you, barely able to lift his weapon, but the fury in his eyes will not let up. And we're down to him as he strikes out at you again with that sickle.
He has advantage.
He does have
Okay.
advantage.
Okay.
Yes, from 2 sources, but sadly not double. That's going to be a 16, a 20, and a 17.
Just the 20.
That's going to be 19 piercing damage as it hits home into your armor. The vulture turning to attack. Altus for a 22 and a 20.
They both hit.
Okay, that's going to be 9 piercing and 4 slashing damage as it reaches out at you. And that's going to be the end of their turn, and we're back to the top of the round with Altus.
Okay. I'm going to keep stabbing at this damn vulture.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 15 to hit.
Hits.
And then 12 damage.
All right. As you get a new nickname, the Vulture Killer, as this one drops to the ground as well. And we are down to Tempest, unless you have anything else on your turn.
I would like to move, and then I don't know if I can attack a different target after I make a melee attack as my bonus action. It doesn't say, but I'd like to.
Ask that question again, sorry?
So I have the ability to use a bonus action to make a second melee attack.
Yes.
I just don't know if I can do it on a different target.
I don't see why not.
Usually say if you couldn't.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
If it doesn't, yeah.
In that case, I'm gonna swing at Mr. Fire Eyes.
Go right ahead.
I didn't make it.
What did you get?
I got a 9.
Okay, you did not make it. That's okay. Tempest, you're up.
Okay. 2 whacks and a dexterity save from him. And reckless again.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay, so 23 and 10.
The 23 will hit, the 10 will
Can
not.
I? Oh man, I was gonna say, can I
That's
do War
okay.
God's Blessing?
Yes, you can.
Grant an
We're
extra
already going to do it.
10.
10? Okay, so
Yes.
both of those will hit then.
Oh, okay.
And he made his deck save.
Oh,
I assume because
whatever.
it's a 22.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it takes half though. Okay, so 10 plus 3, 13 plus 12, 25.
How do you want to do it?
Oh boy. So he's all crazy. And I just up to the groin, up and into the balls.
As you split him navel to nape, he falls to the snow, bleeding out, and you are out of combat.
Wipe the blood from my face.
As you do that, you hear Eric's running forward, eyes wide. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
From the north now, as this quiet begins to settle, how the aftermath of a battle always feels more silent than it truly is. A wolf calmly emerges, walking towards the camp. Stepping between the tents closest to both of you, it nods. And you hear, in common, "I'll take it from here if you will grant me the leave."
I look at Eric's. Do you know that guy?
He steps forward. I don't, but he's our symbol. I will not harm the boy. I am merely here to take him back to safety.
Eric's, I think you're going to be okay.
Thank you both for keeping the boy safe. And the wolf helps him up onto its back and dashes off into the snow, kicking up snow into a wind as the two of you find yourself back in the basement of Grimskull, leaving us with only Hugo.
Me.
Hugo, it's become hard to keep track of time now. The hours of darkness and the hours of light don't seem to make sense in their duration. They seem to pass faster than they're supposed to, and then slower anytime you try to focus on them. And as you sit before the campfire, the aurora stretching out overhead, I need you to make a wisdom save. Save this time.
Save?
Yes.
$16.
You feel this tingling come over your body from your toes, through your legs, through your stomach, through your chest, to your head, and you begin to hear this whirlwind of voices. The voice of your sister, the voices of your parents, the voices of these people, the voices of the Derigar that kept you captive. And as you focus on the fire before you, you manage to push them away. But you can tell it was barely. And overhead, the aurora is sucked back into the darkness as the end of this night, this indeterminate time of isolation, brings you to another day. What are you doing?
I have no idea how long it's been. How many days?
No.
Okay. Not knowing how many days it's been or how many days I have left, I'm going to try to cast Meld into Stone. So I'm going to become one with the ground around me, just in case this thing decides to pop out of my chest.
And how long does Meld into Stone last?
8 hours.
Okay. So you are able to do so successfully. Nothing stopping you from it. Clearing out a spot of snow until you can find earth underneath it takes you time. And the stone encases your entirety. now the time is even more amorphous than it was prior. Until after 8 hours, the stone cracking and chipping away, you are greeted with cheers. The tiger tribe returned with beyond the bounty they expected. The queen steps forward and claps you on the shoulder. Well, I'm sorry it took us so long, but it went much better than we could have expected. They didn't see us coming at all. We had to wait and see their own hunters return so we could get the bounty that they were bringing in before we brought the original one back. But you kept it safe.
As she's talking, I'm going to try to poke her.
And you managed to touch her face. She is real and she is there.
Ah! And I'll just give her the biggest hug.
And she, stuck in shock. We thank Auril for her service and blessing. And as
she thanks you too.
As you clutch her, that cold wind wraps around you until she is left standing alone. And now all of you are back in the basement of Grimskull.
Yes, we did it! Where's the book?
Yes, Valen, who has comfortably been sitting in the center of this room. Where is the book?
I'm unsure. She looks up as all of you, just so you are aware, because I know we've been having questions about time. All of you returned within a few minutes of one another to this space. And Valin looks up and says, I was only back for maybe 5 minutes before you arrived. Did the tests go well for you as well?
Wait, you also took the tests?
Yes, I was in a cavern underneath a large block of ice, and then I was alone on a field of stars. And then I had to murder a family that I am not particularly familiar with. It was a gruesome ordeal overall, and I feel mildly shaken by the whole thing, but I'm glad to see you're all well. This is not a place to be taken lightly, if any of us had that qualm before.
I was going to give Valin a big hug, but in process, as she said, I murdered a family, I just stop and back away from her.
I'll put my hand on your shoulder and just slowly pat it, it's okay, buddy.
And as you all... Go ahead.
So none of that was real, right? I mean, we weren't gone for the days that we spent, and those people...
She looks at Professor Scant. How long will be gone? Well, as far as I can tell, it's been about 5 minutes in relative time. I'm unsure how the passage of time is working outside of this space, but as far as I can tell, if all of you seem to have had these extreme experiences, I'm not sure how it could be.
Let's just chalk it up to Auril's a bitch and move on.
Moving on.
I have the uncomfortable feeling that the dilation of time was more on this end than on that. Valin says quietly, clearly disturbed by her own experience.
Yeah.
But we have a civilization to save, and qualms of our actions can be dealt with when our task is done. And she begins to walk forward towards the hallway that the walrus indicated the vault was placed behind. And with that, thank you all so much for joining us tonight as our party has finally come back together after an inadvertent split. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all so much for watching, whether it was on Twitch or on YouTube or however on podcasts. Thank you all so much for being here. And thank you especially to our patrons, Sparky, David, Daniel, Scott, Rio's mom, Alistair, Sean, and Johnny Mac. We have reached out to all of our $10 patrons about the t-shirts because we're sending all of you guys our MMMcast t-shirts like Rio is wearing right now. So if you haven't checked your email, please check your email and get back to us so we can make sure we get the right size to you and it's sent to the right location. And other than that, we wish you friends, fun, and natural 20s. Good night, everybody.
Yes.